Welcome to Making Memories and More. Let's get started on today's project.
Today I wanted to share a craft that I have done for quite a few years and is always a favorite every year. And I actually have a friend that likes to collect one of each edition every year of these that I make. It's extremely simple, very affordable, and easy to make as well. So what you're going to need for this project is a simple jar candle. This one I usually pick up at the dollar store. So for $1, they have all different flavors, but around Christmas, they usually have a peppermint one. So this happens to be the peppermint one. I usually try to pick one that has either a white or cream colored wax to it, but you could really use whatever you want. But because this is going to be a snowman, I choose to do the white or cream colored wax. I know they also have like clean cotton and vanilla, and sometimes you can even find an unscented one. So you're going to need one of those. If you wanted to bump this up into a little bit higher price bracket and not quite as affordable, you could use one of the Yankee candles or even possibly something from Bath & Body Works. But to keep price low, I would go with the one from the dollar store. Next, you're going to need a scrap of fleece. I usually have projects that I'm doing with fleece, so I have scraps around that I can pull from and use. Or I go to the bargain bin like at Joann's, and their little end cuts you can get for under $1 sometimes. This one I happened to actually buy for the purpose of making snowman candles a couple years ago. And as you can see, I've made quite a few, and I still have a bunch of fleece left. So pick out whatever tickles your fancy, so to speak, for that. The last two things you're going to need supply-wise are puffy paint. These two bottles I have had forever, and I have made so many things with them. But I use these for the faces on these candles. Just a basic orange and black. These happen to be, let's see, I don't even know if they still make this brand, Polymark, it looks like, and then Scribbles. Even Stickles, things along those lines will work for this. You could do googly eyes, I've done that before. But overall I found these are the quickest, easiest. I always have this on hand, and it's the way to go for me. The only other thing you're going to need is your glue gun and a pair of scissors, and that's it. So let's go ahead and get started with this project. What I like to do first is take my candle, and I take the fleece here, and make sure I've got enough to go around the top of the candle plus some, which this width here is absolutely perfect. And then what you're going to do is kind of eyeball it. This is going to become his hat, and you're going to be gathering this eventually. So we're going to have to allow somewhere around a ½ inch or so at the bottom for our fold over to make it look like a hat. Then the gathering plus the top pieces of his hat. So depending on the size of the candle you have, this length and width is going to vary. But every time I do these, I just eyeball it, and it's always worked out for me that way. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my piece here. It looks like this is the outside of our fabric. So what I'm going to do first is, as you can see, fold this up. So I'm going to put a very, very light amount, just enough to kind of tack it in place here, of our hot glue. And fold it over. This is creating the band that would be around your head, basically, if you had a winter hat on. And then fold it over again. This is about a ½ inch size. This one you're going to put a little more glue on this layer because it's what's going to actually hold it. Okay, now back to our candle again. What I like to do is fold this edge over so we don't have the raw showing there. So next we're going to tack this down. And you only have to do the end here because we're going to make this into kind of like a fringe, basically. So once you have that tacked down, go ahead and roll this around your candle. You want to make it so that seam, the seam here, we want that to be in the back. I usually put my label in the back, so I line those up. And I don't affix this to the candle itself. It's all free from that, so that if they want to take the hat off and burn the candle or whatnot without any hazard, they can. Alright, and once that dries, we'll be ready to move, or sets up a little, I should say. Now I'm going to cut a little bit of a band off the top because I have plenty to do so. This does not need to be fancy by any means. The beauty with fleeces, it does not have to be sewn, it's not going to ravel or anything along those lines. Alright, so with this strip I just cut, I'm going to start by gathering our hat up into kind of like a little beanie. You're going to take that strip, put it around that gathered area, and in the back we're going to just tie it in a double knot. And you're going to leave those ends there. Now, with what you have left of the fleece here, you're going to cut this into, I'd say probably, I usually just eyeball it, and I'd say like 1/4 to 1/2 inch, somewhere in between there. And you're going to cut from the top down to where you made your knot. Kind of fluff it up a little bit. If you have your ends too long from when you tied it off, you can trim them, of course, but I like the way mine turned out. So there we go. We have our snowman with his hat. Now the next thing I do is use the puff paints to put his face on. Okay, so locate your back, turn it to the front. And what I do is make somewhat like a triangle shape in circular motions, starting with the larger end first. And make his little carrot nose. Then with our black puffy paint, I create 2 eyes. I usually do longer, skinnier dots, if you will. And then for his coal mouth, I make these more rounded. You can do like a smirk off to the side like that, if you like it. Or I like to sometimes continue on and do a full mouth. But there you go. It's as easy as that. So now we have our snowman candle. I usually let these dry overnight, and then they're good to go. So for under $5, you have a really cute gift for all kinds of options. Secret Santas, if you have sisters or fellowship group, anything along those lines, office exchange, this is a really great way to do it. You can also upscale this idea to a larger jar candle. Of course, then your cost is going to be more, but they make such cute candles. And you can totally change up the way things look. If you have little embellishments that you'd like to do, maybe a little snowflake off to the side, or holly and berry, or pine cones, anything like that, you can embellish the hat. You can put a little bell on it if you'd like. So use your imagination. There's all kinds of things you can do with this. I just wanted to show you at least the basics, so you have a gift item that is quick, easy, and very inexpensive for your holiday season. So there you go.